A pleasant afternoon, everyone. We are the first group, and we will present the state of nature scenario that we created for our island. The setting state of nature is post-apocalyptic, where the main characters strive for survival and collectively pursue the rebuilding of the society through reparations, equity, and the establishment of laws. On the other hand, the concerns of this governed state of nature are lack of food, completely destroyed society and environment, starting a new government and community from absolute zero. The post-apocalyptic world in which we currently live is entirely destroyed and devoid of life. As we recount our tale, the answers to the remaining questions will become clearer. But before that, let us have a brief recount of our characters and their past. Located in the constellation of Cygnus, the planet Kepler 22b is on the brink of destruction as they are faced with an apocalyptic-level catastrophe. As the inhabitants of Orbitar flee, hundreds of spaceships containing the people are destroyed during their escape. Only one, which fits 500 people, remains and is set off to an unclear destination. Unsure of how long the journey has been, panic started to rise. Along with the rising commotion, one of the ship's engines started to fail. It is without choice that they had to land on the nearest planet, Earth of the Milky Way galaxy. The ship was in no condition for a proper landing. As it crashed, multiple lives were taken, but 5 were fortunate enough to survive. Recovering from the crash, a devastating scene welcomes them, as the planet seems to have gone through the same apocalyptic catastrophe as they have. The surviving characters were split into 5 groups in their old world, each of which was defined by its most tenacious characteristic: erudite, dauntless, candor, amity, and abnegation. Evil Jimmy is naturally intelligent and is always curious, which is why he is in constant pursuit of knowledge. He believes that conflicts arise because of ignorance. The downside is that Jimmy is egotistical and power-hungry, since he thinks that because of his intelligence, he deserves to be in charge. Cardo Dalisay has strong physique and strategic defenses. Has little value in the beginning of the story, but is later an important mediator of conflicts among the people. As a lawyer of their previous planet, Lenny seeks to maintain justice by upholding her principles in honesty. As someone who has great survival instincts, which he acquired in his past expeditions, he is quick-witted and resourceful to think on his feet when necessary. Kuya Kim also advocates for fairness and harmony by being one with nature. A religious sister who blames selfishness for human errors, as well as a bearer of peace and governance. Her previous faction, where she came from, are known to choose to completely forget themselves and only serve others.
Everyone alright?
What happened here?
Earth doesn't seem the same as it was in our sources back home. The massive fissures on the ground resemble something familiar. It seems that Earth has gone through the same catastrophe as we have. The appearance of new layers further suggests that the catastrophe happened some distant past.
I think we should split up and look for the resources we can use. It seems to be getting late, and we wouldn't want to get stranded with nothing during the night.
Split up? With 5 of us left, we should stick together to ensure our survival.
Kuya Kim and Cardo argued about it for some time, until Lenny mediated a conflict and suggested some sound judgments.
We're on a totally different planet. We're not even sure if there are any inhabitants left here. Either way, we also won't be sure if they are friendly. Well, I think that we should stick together, and the best option here is to let Kuya Kim and Jimmy lead the group in finding resources, given that they are the most knowledgeable about survival and resource management. On the other hand, Cardo can assist them in scavenging any potential resource.
Finding food was not easy, as most resources were wiped out during the catastrophe. However, after some time, Mother Teresa and Jimmy were fortunate enough to find a single coconut on a nearby shore.
We found the coconut. We can split this into 5.
Wait! It's already weird enough to find some random coconut given that most life here on this planet already ceased to thrive. The coconut might have become poisonous due to its exposure to any post-volcanic materials. It looks different as well. It's better not to eat it and be on the safe side of the situation.
The group unanimously decided not to eat the fruit in Jimmy's defense. On the other hand, Jimmy volunteered to properly dispose of the presumed poisonous fruit. Later that night, when everyone was asleep, Cardo was awakened by a distant banging sound. He followed the sound, only to find Jimmy opening the coconut to eat it for himself. This alarmed Cardo, to which the whole group was woken to.
Are you planning to eat that coconut for yourself? I should have expected that selfish attitude from an errand.
Laws do not exist here. I'm free to do just about anything that I want. Besides, it's not my fault that you chose to believe me.
I thought we all agreed to look out for each other. What was the purpose of grouping up then?
Let's try to settle down,
I
everyone.
can't do this. I'm splitting up.
Wait, Cardo. What if I told you that there's a way to resolve this? We can all agree that the initial rules we have all agreed on a while ago were effective, right? With this, I think we can start creating some ground rules that can serve as laws.
What do you have in mind?
First, let's resolve the issue at hand. Since the coconut isn't dangerous after all, we can split it up evenly.
Why would you even give that Jimmy a portion?
Cardo, we're not trying to create more problems. Anyway, moving forward, we can all contribute in making 5 ground rules or laws and make a clear statement of our roles, duties, and responsibilities among us.
The Social Contract. Law 1. General Law. Everyone must diligently perform their roles and responsibilities and perform menial tasks for the survival of the society. Most basic law of the land. Law 2. On the responsibility of lawmaking and decision-making. Major decisions will be decided by the founding heads of the society and would require a unanimous decision before implementing or abolishing any law or protocol. Abnegation, headed by Mother Teresa, will be in charge of monitoring and has the main obligation to enforce and regulate the established long-term laws and protocols. In any situation where a short-term or practical decision is needed to be made, the rights in making the judgment will be passed on to the faction aligned with the category of the concern or issue. Social issues are passed on to abnegation and amity, while logical issues and its actualization are passed on to dauntless and erudite. Candor is in charge of reviewing and modifying the judgment before the unanimous passing of the law. Law 3. When multiple problems rise and inevitable confrontations and arguments arise, a meeting of the 5 leaders will be held once a month to discuss these conflicts and come up with a unanimous decision. Law 4. Violence and murder. A rule shall be made prohibiting any form of violence and killing, regardless if it is a penalty or not, as both can make the society dysfunctional by disabling a person from performing his or her duties for everyone. A penalty can be given only if it does not involve omitting any human life. Law 5. On the neglection of their assigned roles and responsibilities. In the context of social responsibilities, the survivors are expected to perform their duties and responsibilities, D and R, as needed and demanded. Failure to uphold their D and R will result in punishment through appropriate sanctions. On the other hand, rewards will be given to exemplary performances of their assigned D and R.